welcome to my kitchen. I'm Nicole Newman and I am your kitchen addict today. We are going to be making chicken broth. We're going to be making a velouté sauce later on. I'm working on our 5 mother sauces as a series, so that'll be coming soon, and I will place that in the comments below as soon as that's ready to post. But to make the velouté sauce, I need some chicken broth or stock. Either one is fine. The main difference between broth and stock: the broth is made with the meat on the bone. Stock is made with just the bones. You can use store-bought, but let me tell you, having a homemade chicken stock is so easy to make and tastes so much better. And you just can't really get that gelatinous, jello-y feel from the store-bought. So we'll have to do a stock demo soon. I am going to be doing broth today, so I'm just going to go ahead and start. I have a whole chicken here. And to keep my hands clean, I'm just going to pick him up with my tongs and get him into my water, or into my pot. And then I'm going to add some cold water over it. Until it's pretty well covered. I might need to add a little more, but I'll let it hang out. We'll see what it needs. So, we let this cook for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start getting some of our vegetables chopped up. This is going to be what's called a mirepoix. Can really be anything, but mostly consists of celery, carrots, onions, garlic, maybe some leeks. Today I have celery, carrots, some garlic, and an onion that we're going to be dicing up. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on those. I'm going to save these leaves. They're going to be a part of our bouquet garni. And I'll tell you what that is a little later on once we're ready to add that to our stock. Alright, so I've got my chicken in the water. I did add a little bit more to it just to cover it. The pitcher that I had did not quite cover it. So I added just a little bit more of cold water to it. That's going to be simmering. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start getting the mirepoix chopped up. Mirepoix is the vegetable base of our stock. And typically it consists of carrot, celery, maybe some leeks, an onion, garlic. Today I'm using onion, celery, garlic, and I have a few carrots too. You want to chop everything about the same size. Just make sure that your fingers are out of the way. So I'm just going to do a pretty rough chop on these things. And then we'll add those to our stock, and we'll strain them out later. This won't be what we're using for our pot pie, but it's just going to help add a little bit more flavor to our chicken broth here. Got my carrots. And if you're not good with your knife skills, I'll tell you, celery is a great thing to start on. It cuts pretty easily and is a good, it's pretty rigid, so it's a good item to start learning how to chop with. So that's just, if you need that practice, then you definitely can. And I'll be showing some knife skill videos too a little further on in the channel. my mirepoix chopped up. You can see the red onions. I have some garlic, carrots, and celery in here. That's going to be ready to add to our broth in just a few moments. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get our bouquet garni going. Bouquet garni is just the herbs and aromatics that I'm going to add to our stock to add some seasoning to it. So I'm going to add a couple of bay leaves. I'm also going to use our celery leaves that we had chopped off from the mirepoix. I'll add those in. I'm going to add just a small amount of rosemary. It's a pretty strong herb, and you don't want it to completely take over the stock. So I'm just going to add a real small sprig of that, just to add a little bit of earthiness, but not to overpower the dish. And then I'm going to add a few sprigs of thyme, and I've got some sage here as well. So it's a good poultry seasoning that we're going to be adding. I'm also going to add some peppercorns, and I'm also going to add a good amount of salt to our broth, just so that way we can get everything going. So I'm just going to grab some twine out of the kitchen and tie these up and let this continue to simmer down, and in about 10 minutes we will be ready to get this onto the next step. Add our vegetables in the bouquet garni and let it simmer. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm just skimming off the top of my broth here, trying to clarify it as much as possible. I'm going to go ahead and add in our diced up vegetables, our mirepoix. Just go ahead and get that tucked under the surface. This pot's pretty full to cover the chicken, but that's alright because it's going to kind of simmer off a little bit, and we're going to need a lot for it, for our chicken pot pie and for the velouté sauce. This is my bouquet garni. This is the sage, the bay leaves, some of our celery leaves, some thyme, and just a little bit of rosemary. I'm just going to tuck this in there. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of whole peppercorns as part of my bouquet garni. Go ahead and get that under the surface there. And then I'm just going to add a pretty heavy pinch of salt just to go ahead and start building that seasoning. So I'm going to let this simmer for about another 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to come back, check on it periodically, give it a stir, make sure that my chicken's still covered, and skim off anything that may rise to the top, any imperfections and impurities that rise up. I'll skim those off. We'll let it go for about another hour, and I'll meet you back here and we'll work on our velouté sauce. Hey everyone, welcome back. The broth has been simmering for about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I maybe let it go an hour and 15. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I'm going to remove the chicken from the broth and put it on the cutting board. And I'm going to go ahead and strain it. And we will be done. It'll be yours to use as desired. I have several recipes that call for chicken broth. You can use store-bought, but I really recommend homemade. It is so wonderful. It smells amazing in here. I wish you could be here with me and smelling this. Just has a really great, yummy, earthy smell here. And really the bouquet garni, all of the fresh herbs and the aromatics that we added in, the mirepoix and the chicken have really just all come together and made a really great smell in here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a pair of tongs and lift the chicken out, and I'm just going to put it right here on the board. I'll let it cool, and then I'll go ahead and cut that up for a use later on. You can do whatever you would like with it, whatever you plan on using it for. I'm just going to drain out some of the juice and then transfer it right over here to my cutting board. My cutting board has a well on it because there is some juice still in the cavity, and that's going to drain around. But that is fully cooked. And now I have a bowl here that I'm just going to, I have a strainer in it. I'm just going to go ahead and pour all of my chicken broth into it. All right, and then get rid of that. If you're using it immediately, it is all set and ready to go. I might skim a little bit more fat off the top of it. There's not too much left. I did a good job of that whenever it was cooking. but it might skim a little more off, but it is good to go. If you aren't using it immediately, you can fill a sink with some water and add some ice to it and start getting this cooled down to room temperature as quickly as possible, and then store it in the refrigerator. You can store it in the freezer for about 6 months or in the refrigerator for about a week to 2 weeks. Really depends on how often you're using it, whether I put it in the fridge or the freezer. I love using stock in sauces. My husband is a sauce fan, so we make a lot of sauces, and I love having the homemade stock. I really think it makes a difference in flavor. So please let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. I have the recipe down there, and tag me in your Facebook and social media posts at #Chef Nicole Newman, and let me know how your dish turned out. Thanks for